Helicopter training threes. I'm gonna walk back over, check the YouTube. Things quieted down a little bit, but that's okay. Getting late, getting tired. I did this 4 hours on Facebook earlier today, and now here we are doing it again tonight on YouTube. But that's okay. Thank you for all the shares. Hopefully you enjoyed that a little bit. Hopefully you can relate if you are in your helicopter training journey right now. Maybe you'll make you feel a little better about being in the same boat with some other people. The next is going to be on the helicopter threes. This is something that when I first started instructing all those years ago, well, actually, I filled my first check ride and I put my notebook together. When I'm organizing things, I kept noticing, man, there's a lot of things that are grouped together in threes, and it keeps popping up over and over and over again. The number 3 is a fantastic number. It comes into play in so many different things. I'm an ex-cop, ex-fireman, ex-wrecker driver, and everything always came in threes, and you always heard that, and it seemed to be pretty much the case. You don't get a call for several days, and then boom, you get 3 calls right in a row. Well, anyway, going through helicopter training, there's all these times that when I'm working with somebody, prepping them for a check ride, I'm asking them, well, what are the 3 types of icing? What are the 3 types of rotor systems? And the list kind of goes on and on. So I took the common ones, the most common ones, and put them into a chapter of my book called the Helicopter Threes. And we actually used to have this out on DVD. We quit making DVDs. And I'm not even sure we have this in the ground school anymore because I want to remake these videos because I made, some of them are, you know, a little older, and over time with better equipment and better audio and video, I'd love to reshoot these, and I think we're going to do that this summer. Reshoot them all, up-to-date them, and then add some that weren't in the original list. So I don't see any other questions coming right now, so it's getting late. I'm going to go ahead and roll this so we can get through the last few videos. So keep liking and sharing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Thanks for liking. Give us a share. Subscribe to the channel so you know when we come out with new videos. And because you're watching this video, I'm making a special offer. It's a long video, a lot of content here. For you taking the time to watch, I'm offering a special discount. You can use the code BR15OFF on the coupon, in the coupon box on the checkout page. When you get to the area where you enter your credit card information, if you want to join our Helicopter Line Ground School, you can use this 15% discount. You put that code BR15OFF in the right hand mid side of the page, click apply, and it will show you a 15% discount offer. Shows you the discounted price. 5 years now online. We've had major success with online ground school. I love what I do. We're helping so many people get through their check rides. It just keeps getting more and more people sending their pictures and sending me email or sending me a text because they're all excited they just got through their check ride. So it keeps growing. The momentum is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and roll this video now. Put your comments down below, and we'll see you after this next video is done, and we got a few more to go. So see you shortly. Starting off, we're going to do the 3 stages of a thunderstorm. I'll pretty much guarantee you about 99.9% chance that he's going to ask you on the private pilot check ride. An examiner might ask you on a 135 check ride if you're flying EMS. They're going to ask, what are the 3 stages of a thunderstorm? Cumulus, mature, and dissipating. Commit those to memory so that you'll always know it. Any check ride they ask, boom, cumulus, mature, dissipating. The examiner's going to ask you, what are the 3 things combined together is going to get you into the dynamic rollover situation? Number 1 is a pivot point. Number 2 is a rolling moment. And number 3 is exceeding the critical rollover angle. And we'll throw you a little tidbit in there. 15 degrees is that critical rollover angle, which another little training tip, 15 degrees is also your degrees for exceeding the critical angle of attack. So when you're memorizing 15, you think of it in those 2 different ways. What are the 3 things are you going to notice at the onset of retreating blade stall? The 3 things that you need to know are abnormal vibration, pitch up of the nose, and a roll to the left. He's going to say, great. Why does the nose pitch up? The nose pitches up due to gyroscopic precession. What is gyroscopic precession? Well, maybe his next favorite question. Gyroscopic precession is when a force is applied to a spinning object, it's felt 90 degrees later in the plane of rotation. Those are some of the key things there at a private pilot check ride. Is what are the 3 things that you'll notice at the onset of retreating blade stall? Abnormal vibration, pitch up of the nose, and a roll to the left. Or 3 types of icing. The examiner is probably going to ask, what are some forms of icing, or what are the 3 main types of icing? Rime, clear, and mixed. In a helicopter, do we want to fly in icing conditions? No. Do you ever want to go when they're forecasting icing? No. In a helicopter, you want to stay so clear of icing, it's not even funny. Anytime you're near freezing, anytime you're a few degrees above or below the freezing level, you probably better be careful if there's moisture in the air. Recapping 3 of the types of icing. The examiner asks you, rime, clear, and mixed. Commit those to memory.
The 3 things will get you into sailing with power. I've shot this several times, but it's an important message. Our examiner says, as a helicopter pilot, it's one of the things that can get you into trouble quicker than anything. Being a helicopter pilot, you have to commit the memory. Rate of descent 300 feet per minute or greater, using 20 to 100% of power, airspeed less than ETL. This has to be committed to memory. When I failed my first private pilot check ride, that was one of the things that I stumbled on, and that's what the examiner told me was, make sure you know that and you know it, so when you're asked, you can go boom, boom, boom. Rate of descent 300 feet per minute or greater, using 20 to 100% of power, airspeed less than ETL.
Now I want to do the 3 situations conductive to sailing with power. The 3 main situations that guys will get themselves into sailing with power, which are, number 1 is attempting to hover above the hovering ceiling, which makes complete sense. If you try to hover at a point that's above the ceiling, it's not going to do it. It's going to settle with power. Number 2 is hovering out of ground effect without precise attitude control. And the example there that we all like to use is photo flights. You're doing a photo flight and you're trying to hold a shot for a photographer and the wind's not directly off your nose. Maybe it's quartering off to the side and you're kind of paying attention to what he's doing more than what you are as far as the control of the aircraft. You can get yourself into sailing with power that way. And then the third one, of the most popular of the 3, not that they're popular, but very possible, is steep approach downwind, which sounds pretty simple. Well, we don't land downwind. Well, most generally we don't land downwind, but the mistake pilots make is, any of us could do this, you think you know where the wind's at, and maybe the wind has changed. You've went from one airport to another, or while you've been out flying, the wind's changed, and you didn't realize that maybe you were landing downwind. You didn't do the best check, and you start doing a steep approach, and the wind may be a little bit behind you. Very good possibility you're going to get into sailing with power. Those 3 again: attempting to hover above the hovering ceiling, hovering out of ground effect without precise attitude control, and steep approach downwind. So the 3 main ways that guys get into it. You got to really be careful, use good pilot technique, and just don't put yourself in those situations. There's some of you out there that maybe you never have trouble with any of these. I, for one, have to review this all the time because I screw it up. Let's see how I can do here. Definition of night. The definition of night is the end of evening civil twilight up to the beginning of morning civil twilight, as published in the American Air Almanac, converted to local time. Boom, we got that one done. The next one is, when must your aircraft position lights be on? Those have to be on sunset to sunrise. That one I can always remember. I can get through that one okay. So here goes number 3. The night currency. To be current at night, to take up passengers in the preceding 90 days, you had to have 3 takeoffs and landings in the category and class of aircraft you want to be current in for your passengers. And these 3 takeoffs and landings must take place an hour after sunset up until 1 hour before sunrise, as published in the American Air Almanac. There you go. That was a struggle, and it's always a struggle. So for me, I don't know. I've always had trouble with that, and I have to review that all the time. But point being, my longtime examiner that I've been using always says, good pilot uses his resources. You can't remember every single thing. So you got to be good with the FAR aim, be good at looking stuff up, and know where to find your answers. If you're like me and have a little trouble remembering things sometimes, don't be afraid to grab your FAR aim, grab your Rotorcraft Flying Handbook. Go to that source of information where you can get that whatever it is you're looking for. This is all footage from a flight I did today going to get some maintenance. And what I want to hit is 3 things on aborting a helicopter flight. This is something we need to spend a bunch of more time on, but something real quick. I did 5 years working for Omni Flight Helicopters doing EMS flying, and that was awesome. Got to fly BK-117 and EC-135 and a ton of great experience. And I think one of the best things that I ever got from their training was the chief pilot, who was a former line pilot, check airman, said if you're flying along on an EMS flight and all of a sudden you find yourself descending and slowing down from where you want to be at to feel comfortable, it's probably a pretty good time to turn around and go home. And I want to add a third one to that. If your gut's telling you that too, that's probably a great idea. There's all kinds of factors that get involved in deciding when to turn around and go back, or when to land and get down on the ground and get to a safe spot. And we all have outside pressures depending on what kind of job you're doing. It doesn't matter. They all have pressures. We have pressures we put on ourselves. On this flight, that looked pretty bad right there. Look what you see in this picture. And in reality, the direction I was really going to go was pretty decent. There was a spot opening up and everything was great, but I had my own personal minimum set. As I was flying along, I knew at what point I was going to say, you know what, yes, I want to get up for maintenance, but if I can't get there today, I'm just going to have to turn around and go back home and delay it another day. It doesn't matter what else I have going on and what's going to screw up. And that's part of being a pilot and trying to make the best decisions you can, and there's really a lot to that. 3 things, and this isn't in any textbook anywhere. It's just something that I kind of like and tell myself, and I still, like I said, I still go back to the days when they said, if you're slowing down and you're lowering your altitude, it's a pretty good bet that it's time to be going home and turning around or finding a place to land. And if your gut is telling you as well, that's, everything in life. Usually your gut is right. So if you're slowing down, you're dropping your altitude than where you really want to be, and your gut's telling you it's time to go home, it's probably a good time to abort and turn around and get back home. Let's do 3 steps on a successful lift to a hover. We're going to get the Enstrom fired up here. Clear left, clear on the right. Alright, we're going to engage the clutch. Alright, here we go, everybody. We're going to talk through 3 steps of a good pickup to a hover. Step number 1 is to get the aircraft light on the skids. In the Enstrom, we start at 2300 on the RPM. Start letting the collective come up. You're going to hear a horn. Okay, so the horn's off. So what I'm going to do first is I want to get the aircraft light on the skids. So I'm kind of looking outside, back inside, looking outside, back inside. There, the aircraft's getting light. So step number 1 is get it light. Once you get it light, then you want to pause and neutralize all movements. What's the nose doing? Is the nose wanting to go a little bit to the left? Is the nose wanting to go right? Do you feel the nose going down, the nose coming up? Make those adjustments. Once you're light, make those adjustments. Get everything where you want it. Get confident that the aircraft's going to come up straight. Then, step number 3 is to just gently lift the aircraft up. And you all get a chance there to see the Enstrom bounce that a lot of you may have never heard of or never seen. That's what the Enstrom does. When you get it light, it starts bouncing around, and a lot of guys want to rush through a pickup because they don't want to feel that bounce, but it's just part of flying an Enstrom, and it's not really a big deal. So there you go. There's your 3 steps for a successful lift to a hover. So now, the other thing I want to mention is, when I was training as a new pilot, flew with the young CFI, and he did a great job, and every so often I had to fly with the senior guy. And he would always kind of come in and, kick your butt and whip you into shape and make sure that the younger guy's doing what he's supposed to. And I'll never forget him taking me in after a flight lesson and saying, now listen to this. You got to be careful lifting this thing up. And he called it a 2-step process. Get the aircraft light in the skids, pause, neutralize, and then gently lift the aircraft into the air. And I've never forgot him saying, experienced pilots roll these helicopters over from not using a good process picking the aircraft up, rushing the pickup.